Every teacher needs to be surrounded by at least 4 very specific teacher friends in order to be successful in this work. I'm going to break it down for you right now, just like I broke it down in chapter 15 of my new book that you can get for free during the launch phase in the description down below. I use the word surrounded very intentionally because surrounded means that you are covered all around. And the minimum number that you can have to be surrounded is 4. You have to have something in front of you, on either side of you, and behind you. And that's the same criteria that you'll need for the 4 teacher friends in order to have a successful school year and a successful career, honestly. So let me break it down. The first person is the person that goes in front of you. That's what I like to call the guide. The guide is the person who is currently where you want to be and has been where you currently are. So the guide is somebody who can turn back and help give you advice or help give you support in areas that they have experience in that you're currently struggling with. And a pro tip, I like to say the guide is the person who is just 2 years removed from the things that you're struggling with. 2 years is intentional. 2 years is important because you want somebody who knows kind of what it's like to still go through that struggle. And just 2 years ago is recent enough for them to remember what it's like to go through it. And it's also relevant enough to have the struggles to be similar. Like, think about it. If you're in education, obviously 2 years ago from the recording of this video we were still in the middle of the pandemic or coming out of the pandemic, right? So somebody who was struggling with some of the things that you're struggling with now, they know what it's like to teach during and or after a pandemic. But if you have a guide in front of you who hasn't taught in 20, 30 years, things are a lot different. So a guide to help be relevant, you want them to be close, not too close, not just 6 months removed, because they may not have come all the way through that thing. But 2 years is a good enough amount of time for them to say, oh, I know what that struggle is like. I know what you're going through. Here's some advice. So the person in front of you should be your guide. The person to your right side, the criteria for that person is that's going to be your right hand man or your right hand woman or your right hand person, whoever you want to call it. But that's the person that I like to call the support person. This is the person who's going through the trenches right there with you. So they're not a guide. They're not 2 years removed. No, they're in this thing with you. They're struggling with the same students that you're struggling with. They're dealing with the same parents as you, complaining about the same administrators as you. That person that definitely understands what you're going through because they're going through it too. That's going to be your confidant, the person that you can rely on, the person that you can bounce ideas off of, the person that you can confide in. That's going to be that person, that person that is going to take care of you. Right? The person that is going to ask you, did you get a chance to eat today? Right? The person is going to ask you, how are you showing up today? How are you feeling? How are you? Checking in on you, your well-being, your mental health, your availability. That's your right-hand person that you need. That's going to be your ride or die, basically. That's going to go with you through the struggle. So after your right side person, you're going to need your left side person. Your left side person is the person that I like to call your accountability partner in a lot of cases, or your protection. This is the person that holds you to your high standards. This is the person that is going to remind you when there's a staff meeting, right? A staff meeting coming up. This is going to be the person that lets you know, listen, grades are due just to get your stuff in. It's going to be that iron sharpens iron type of thing. It's going to hold you to a high expectation, hold you to a high standard, and hold you accountable to show up as you know that you can. But similar to, when you're playing a sport like football, sometimes the left side is the blind side. So that's why that person is your protection. The protection, because they're going to make sure that you are on your P's and Q's, doing the things that you're supposed to be doing to show up for students so that you are meeting the standards that you set for yourself, right? They're protecting you from ridicule or protecting you from, administrators or whatever it is coming down on you for not doing the things that you're supposed to do. They're protecting you sometimes from yourself, right? Sometimes from yourself when you're not showing up as doing the best that you can. So that left side person, your accountability partner, that's going to be known as your protection. And to be surrounded, you got to have somebody behind you as well. And the behind you person is super important. I like to call the person that is behind you your encouragement. This is going to be the person that catches you so that you don't fall. Because we all know that there are definitely going to be times in which we struggle. Definitely going to be times in which we want to quit, we want to give up, we want to walk away. Some of us are experiencing that right now. Definitely going to be those times when we feel like I can't do this anymore. But rather than falling back and hitting your head, that person that's behind you is going to give you that push. right? Because you can't give me a push from the front or from the side, but they need to get behind you and give you that push, give you that encouragement, give you that motivation that says, I know this is tough, but remember why you started, right? It's going to be that person that you can cry to. It's going to be that person that you can share how you're really feeling, the things that you're definitely going through. That person is going to hear it, going to feel it with you, but then also going to encourage you to do what's best for you, take care of yourself. And that is the person that's behind you. That's their role. That's their job, to help be in your encouragement. The reason why these 4 friends are super, super important is because 4 of the top reasons why people are leaving the education field is because they feel like they don't have a guide or a clear picture of what it is that should be doing. They don't have that support. They don't have protection, and they don't have any encouragement. So when people don't have these things, that's when they start to feel burnt out, stressed, overwhelmed, and they say, I don't think that this is for me anymore. So let me just encourage you. If you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these people surrounding you, reach out to them and let them know thank you. Like, thank you for being my guide, because you helped me through a lot of things. Thank you for protecting me, for supporting me, because without you, I wouldn't be able to make it. Thank you for encouraging me when you know the times I want to quit and want to give up. Thank you for continuing to remind me of the reason why I started in the first place and pushing me. And I also want to let you know that you can be that for somebody else. I just gave you the criteria. Education is hard. We know that. It's hard work. But in order to be able to show up for other people, or in order to be able to encourage other people to show up, we've got to do this thing together. Who can you guide? Right? Who were you 2 years ago that you can reach back to and give some advice to? Who can you support? Who are you in the trenches with that you can show up day in and day out and ride or die with that person? Who can you protect? Iron sharpens iron. Who is it that you are holding accountable, right? And who are you encouraging? Who are you standing behind and continuing to give a little push and saying, you got this, you can do this? Who is it that you can show up to that for? We can't do this work alone. We can't teach in isolation if the goal is to make massive impact. I know that, which is why I wrote the book 99% of Human, 1% Amazing, because teaching is hard and it's getting harder. And it's going to continue to get harder. It's not something that we should try to do on our own. But for some reason, you want to do this. Like, there's a burning passion in your heart that says, I want to make my impact through education. I know it's hard. I know it's challenging. I know it's tough. I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. But for some reason, this is how I feel called to make my impact. So I want to continue to show up, but I don't feel as if this is sustainable. That's literally why I wrote the book, because I wanted to help you, one, realize that you definitely are capable of making a difference. If it is possible, you are capable. And when you let your differences live, that's when you can make a difference in somebody else's life. And I want to help show you that biologically, 99% of your DNA is just what makes you a human. And that 1% is what makes you amazing. I want to help unlock that amazing, to show you what that amazing is, to help you see that amazing for yourself so that you can let your amazing live, so you can make a difference in somebody else's life. But not just do I want to encourage you through the book, but there's also 8 different chapters that are going to be able to give you literal strategies, that turnkey strategies that you can use to help improve your practice. Because it's one thing to have a desire, to a will to show up, but you also have to have the skill. Like, it's a will thing and it's a skill thing. I want to help encourage you and empower you and give you the will. But I definitely need to make sure that you also have the skill to be effective and truly make the impact that you want to make. Teaching is definitely hard. A lot of teachers are saying, I'm over this, I'm done, I'm leaving, I don't want to do this anymore. But the reason why you clicked on this video, the reason why I wrote this book is because for some reason you say, I don't want to struggle with this thing anymore. I want to be great at it. I want to make a difference. I want to make an impact, and I know that I can. I just need more tools in my tool bag. I have the tools for you, right? This is the book that I needed when I was struggling the most, that helped me to transition from a terrible teacher to a 2-time teacher of the year, right? This book itself didn't help me because this book is new and I was struggling years ago, but this is what I learned as I was struggling and what helped me to transition. I put it all in here, 300 pages. Just for you. Honestly, truly, I just want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to make the impact that only you can. That's why I'm taking away the barriers during the pre-launch phase. And if you like this book, it's completely free just for you. in the description below. Depending on when you click on the link, you'll see it's completely free just for you. I want you to go out there and get it so that it can help you see success sooner and help you to have the impact that only you can have. Thank you for following along this journey. In the next video, we are going to talk about what to do when the classroom management strategies that I've shared so far are not working. That's chapter 22 in the book. Can't wait to share with you. See you in the next one.